The story begins with the entry of a new student named Bishak. The moment he walks into the classroom, the entire atmosphere changes. The teacher introduces him as an exceptional boxer and announces that, from today onward, Bishak will be the head of the boxing class. The students welcome him with loud applause. But one face tells a different story. Wasol looks disturbed, because he recognizes Bishak. This is the same guy who once made his life hell in technical school. As soon as the teacher leaves the classroom, Bishak shows his true colors. Without warning, he brutally beats up the biggest bully in the class, establishing fear and dominance in just one day. Then his eyes fall on Wasol. Bishak grabs him by the neck. A girl steps in, trying to stop him, but Bishak slaps her and throws her aside. In a cold, threatening voice, he asks, "Is she your girlfriend? Too bad. I don't hesitate to hit girls either." Terrified, Wasol grabs Bishak's hands and begs for forgiveness. But instead of calming him down, this only fuels Bishak's rage. Shouting at the top of his lungs, Bishak screams, "Did you forget what you learned in middle school?" And then he starts beating Wasol mercilessly. Bleeding and helpless, Wasol notices a pen lying on the floor. With trembling hands, he picks it up. Bishak steps closer, laughing mockingly. "You coward. If you were a real man, you would have attacked me by now." Panicking, Wasol stabs the pen straight into Bishak's eye. Bishak screams in pain. The entire classroom freezes in shock. The students are terrified. Wasol himself is shaking uncontrollably. After the incident, Wasol is presented in court. The judge declares that Wasol intentionally used a weapon. And therefore, this cannot be considered self-defense. Bishak loses one eye. And Wasol is sentenced to 2 years in prison. His mother breaks down in tears. Meanwhile, Wasol sits silently inside the prison bus. Trapped between fear, guilt, and regret. The bus is dead quiet. Suddenly, his eyes fall on a terrifying inmate named Jinka. A man so dangerous that no one dares to sit near him. Jinka is a skilled MMA fighter. And his eyes reflect nothing but violence. Another prisoner steals Wasol's seat, forcing him to sit beside Jinka. As soon as they reach the prison, the guards begin confiscating everyone's belongings. In a cold, emotionless voice, the man asks Wasol, "So, what case are you in for?" Trembling, Wasol replies, "Attempted murder." Hearing this, the other man immediately apologizes and lies, saying his case is the same. Inside the prison, Jinka and Wasol are assigned to the maintenance team. In this jail, every criminal belongs to a team. But in front of the other prisoners, Wasol finally tells the truth. He was only jailed for theft. Just then, a senior inmate named Zhang steps forward. His voice is calm, but terrifying. He explains the rules of the prison. Here, rank is decided by fighting. If you can't fight, disappear. Otherwise, you'll be erased. Inside the prison, there are 3 major groups. The first is led by Feng, a former world-level judo champion. A man whose skills are nearly unbeatable. The second leader is a monster when enraged. Someone who turns into pure destruction. The third is Jiang. He looks small and harmless. But he can crush anyone into pieces. To gain power and control, 2 of these groups join forces and play a dirty game. They stage a fake fight, accuse the third group of attacking guards and stealing smoking supplies. The result? That entire group is sent to solitary confinement. Now, the prison seems to be ruled by only 2 groups. But the truth is far more terrifying. The real ruler of this prison is none of them. The true king is someone all 3 combined could never defeat. His name is Jean. Wasol still knows nothing about him. Until someone tells him. The man you were sitting next to on the prison bus. That was Jean. Jean is a legendary fighter. He won the lightweight championship 3 times in a row. At just 18 years old, he became a world champion, making history. But when Jean returned home to celebrate his victory with his mother and sister. Silence. His sister lay on the floor, her throat slit. Nearby, his mother's lifeless body. Jin's heart shattered. Suddenly, a masked robber attacked him from behind, wrapping a rope around his neck. Jean lifted him effortlessly and smashed him onto a table. Then brutally killed the other 2 attackers as well. The court ruled it as excessive self-defense. And that's how Jean ended up in prison. Now, Rayong needs strong fighters for his team. He recruits Snehan. And assigns Wasol a simple role. To score a goal in a prison game. But out of fear, Wasol panics. Instead of the goal, the ball strikes one straight between the legs. One collapses in agony. Furious, one grabs Wasol and drags him away. Suddenly, Wasol's mind flashes back to his technical school days. That same storeroom. Where Bishak and his friends used to take him to beat him mercilessly. His heart sinks. Wasol realizes. This time too, the same thing is about to happen. At that exact moment, Jean is walking past them. Desperate, Wasol runs toward him and begs for help. But Jean replies in a cold, emotionless tone. Mind your own business. I have something more important to deal with. Don't interfere. He looks at the man holding Wasol and says. Just by looking at you, it doesn't seem like he wants to talk to you. With that, Jean tries to take Wasul away. Seeing this, the man completely loses his temper and attacks Jean. In response, Jean delivers just one slap. The man stumbles back, but still charges again. This time, Jean throws a perfectly timed punch. The man collapses instantly, unconscious. The prisoners standing nearby are left frozen in shock. Some time later, Wasul is sitting with other inmates, quietly studying. When a face he never wanted to see again appears. His right eye is gone. His boxing career is finished. Staring at Wasul with eyes full of hatred, he says, "I will wait for the day you walk out of this prison. And the moment you step outside, your real journey through hell will begin." Hearing this, Wasul's soul trembles. He breaks down, crying, and begs for mercy. But 20 Bishak walks away without looking back, burning with rage. Terrified, Wasul returns to his class. Looking out the window, he sees Jean running on the ground below. Wasul goes to him and thanks him for saving his life. Jean replies calmly, "Don't worry. For now, you're safe." Trying to continue the conversation, Wasul offers him a milk carton. But Jean completely ignores him. Still, every single day, Wasul keeps showing up on the ground with a milk carton. Eventually, Jean gets annoyed and says, "Don't bring milk cartons here again." Wasul starts running after him. Jean stops and turns around. "What do you actually want?" he asks. Then he adds, "Are those people troubling you again?" Wasul says in a soft, almost broken voice, "No. I want to become like you. I want to learn. I want to be strong." Jean looks at him and asks, "Why? What will you do with strength?" Wasul replies, "I don't have any bad intentions. People always hit me, they bully me. I'm exhausted." Then he adds, "I don't want to keep running anymore. I just want to live a normal life." Hearing this, Jean stops. He remains silent for a few moments. Then finally says, "All right. I'll train you." He points to the ground and continues, "It takes me 30 minutes to complete 100 laps of this field. If you can finish 100 laps in 40 minutes, I'll train you." Without thinking twice, Wasul starts running alongside Jean. But after just a few laps, his breathing becomes heavy. Jean pulls far ahead. Yet Wasul refuses to stop. His mind drifts back to the technical school days. Those same storerooms, where Bishak and his friends used to beat him mercilessly. Fueled by those memories, he keeps running. But by the time he reaches 50 laps, Wasul completely breaks down and collapses to the ground. Jean walks over to him and says calmly, "There's no shame in stopping." Remembering his old self. Weak, scared, helpless, Wasul forces himself to stand up again. Like a wounded lion roaring one last time, he screams and pours every ounce of strength he has left into running. He keeps going until he finally collapses unconscious. Wasul fails the test. But Jean has already seen something more important. His willpower. At that very moment, Jean accepts him as his disciple. Thanks to Jin's connection with the jailer, Wasul is transferred to Jin's cell. Jean wastes no time and begins training immediately. He tells Wasul to do push-ups. But Wasul performs them in a strange, incorrect way. Just by looking at him, it's clear this won't be easy. Jean says, "I'll push your limits. There's nothing special about it. We'll just increase the intensity, every single day." From that moment on, Wasul throws himself into backbreaking training daily. After days of extreme practice, he starts looking faster, stronger, and more confident than before. Meanwhile, outside the prison, 20 Bishak walks straight down the middle of the road. Two men shout at him, abusing him and telling him to move aside. 20 Bishak silently steps away. But after taking a few steps, he suddenly turns back and smashes their car's side mirror. Enraged, the two men attack him. But within moments, 20 Bishak brutally beats them down and leaves them lying on the road. The two men worked for a local gangster. Watching 20 Bishak fight, the gangster smiles and asks, "Are you a boxer?" Then he adds, "If you work for me, you'll make a lot of money." He hands him his card. 20 Bishak refuses and flips him the middle finger. Laughing calmly, the gangster says, "I know one of your eyes is damaged. Why don't I test my hand on your other cheek? If you manage to dodge my slap, I'll let you go." Enraged, 20 Bishak lunges at him. But in the blink of an eye, the gangster slaps him across the face. 20 Bishak crashes to the ground. With a cold smile, the gangster says, "If you learn from me, you'll become even stronger." Blinded by his hunger for power, 20 Bishak finally agrees. Some time later, he arrives at the gangster's office. The guards try to stop him, but 20 Bishak beats them all down by himself. Even the senior guard doesn't stand a chance. Seeing this, the gangster is thrilled. Meanwhile, inside the prison, Menhir says to Wasul, "You've become stronger through training. But I don't think you can face one. And soon, Jean will be transferred to the adult prison. After that, who's going to protect you?" Hearing this, Wasul is shocked. He had no idea Jean was leaving. He immediately rushes to Jean and asks, "Is it true? Are you really being sent to the adult prison?" In a calm voice, Jean replies, "You know I can't stay with you forever to protect you. Now, you'll have to trust your training." As Wasul continues training, members of one's group grab one of Jin's teammates and start beating him brutally, because he failed to bring Wasul to them. Just then, Wasul arrives. He attacks one of the students, saves Jin's teammate, and drags him out of there. The two injured students run back to one and tell him everything. Furious, one roars, "I don't care how you do it. Bring that idiot to me, or I'll kill you." The two boys go to Wasul and try to talk him into coming with them. They're about to run away, but Wasul stops them. He makes his decision. He will go to one himself. As soon as Wasul stands in front of him, one explodes with rage and attacks him without hesitation. But this time, Wasul dodges the attack and lands a brutal slap across one's face. One crashes to the ground. For a moment, the entire prison goes silent. Every inmate is stunned. But the very next second, one completely loses his mind. Like a wild animal, he starts beating Wasul mercilessly. Wasul fights back, managing to land a few blows. But one overwhelms him with sheer brutality. Wasul collapses to the ground. One thinks it's over. He believes Wasul is finished. But then, Wasul slowly staggers back to his feet. Everyone freezes in disbelief. With rage burning in his eyes, Wasul grabs one by the collar and smashes his own head into one's face. Again. And again. And again. One falls, dizzy and broken. Wasul mounts him and rains down punch after punch. Just then, Jean rushes in. He pulls Wasul away by force and drags him out of there. The next day, training resumes. But Wasul looks distracted. Jean punches him lightly in the face and snaps. Focus. Something inside Wasul finally snaps. This time, he dodges Jin's attacks cleanly and steps in close, stopping his punch just inches from Jin's face. Jean freezes. For a second, even he is shocked. Then, with a faint smile, he says, "You've gotten much better. But if you want to stay alive, you'll have to train with even more focus. You can't afford to be weak anymore." Jean looks at Wasul and adds, "You seem upset. Let's end training here for today. I need to leave." Wasul quickly says, "You're mistaken. I'm not sad." Jean calmly replies, "I'm being transferred to the adult prison." Hearing this, Wasul feels shattered. As Jean prepares to leave, he turns back and says, "You turned out better than I expected. This training is brutal, even for professional athletes. But you endured everything. Do you know sharks don't have swim bladders? If they stop swimming, they sink and die. You're like a shark. If you stop training, you'll become weak again. So no matter what happens, never stop training." Jean picks up his belongings and walks away. For Wasul, this goodbye is unbearable. He breaks down in tears. But then, he remembers Jin's words. Wiping his face, Wasul stands up and immediately resumes his training. After Jean leaves, Wasul is sent back to Yong's team. Yong's men distract the officer and pull Wasul aside. Yong steps forward and says coldly, "I want to fight you. If you win, I'll do whatever you say." Wasul replies without hesitation, "If I win, you'll never fight again. And you'll stop bullying the other inmates." Yong agrees to the deal. He says the fight will happen in 5 days. But Wasul shakes his head. "No. We fight now." Before anyone can react, Yong starts kicking Wasul brutally. Wasul thinks the next kick is coming to his arm. But Yong suddenly switches and smashes him straight in the head. Wasul crashes to the ground. In a calm, icy voice, Yong says, "I'll be waiting for you in 5 days." Meanwhile, the maintenance team captain hears the news. Word has spread everywhere. Wasul beat Yong. Mocking him, the captain says, "You seem happy." Then adds, "Maybe you don't know this, but Wasul wants to take your position." The captain freezes. Restless and uneasy, he goes straight to the maintenance team to ask about Wasul. Just then, Wasul arrives. Looking him straight in the eyes, he asks, "Do you want to know if I want your position?" The captain nods. Wasol calmly replies, "No." The captain finally exhales in relief. A few days later, Baisak, also known as 20 Bishak, comes to meet Wasol. Ever since Wasol defeated those men, even the gangsters' guards have started talking about him. Hearing this, Baisak is shocked. With a smirk, he says, "I can't believe it. Looks like you're really preparing to fight me. I'll be waiting for that day." Then, with a cold smile, he adds, "But never forget who you are." Baisak turns around and walks away. The day of the fight arrives. Wasol versus Yong. Inmates gather from every corner. The air is heavy, tense, explosive. Yong suddenly says, "Why don't we end all this right here? What has fighting ever given us? Besides punishment and enemies?" At that moment, Wasol steps forward. He looks straight at Yong and asks, "If you lose, will you keep your promise?" Yong scans the crowd and replies, "Everyone is watching. There's no backing out now. If I lose, I'll stop bullying inmates. And I'll give up pointless fights forever." The moment he finishes speaking, Yong charges at Wasol. His speed is terrifying. At first, Wasol can't keep up with Yong at all. Every attack feels too fast, too sharp. But slowly, Wasol steadies himself and starts counterattacking. Suddenly, Yong launches a brutal kick straight to Wasol's head. Wasol crashes to the ground. Everyone thinks it's over. But then, Wasol gets back on his feet. Yong instantly traps Wasol's neck between his legs, trying to choke him out. But Wasol doesn't panic. He starts smashing Yong's thighs again and again. The pain forces Yong to loosen his grip. That's the opening Wasol needed. He grabs Yong's neck and climbs onto his back. Yong slams him into the wall, trying desperately to break free. But Wasol doesn't let go. Both of them fall to the ground. Fueled by rage, Wasol shouts, "You're losing. Tell me, will you keep your promise or not?" At first, Yong refuses. But as the air runs out, and his body starts to give up, he finally breaks. Yong accepts defeat. Just then, the guards rush in. Because of the fight, Wasol is thrown into solitary confinement. But after some time, he's brought back out. Wasol is placed in front of Won and Yong. He speaks firmly. "Until we get out of this prison, none of us will fight again. We end this stupidity and make a deal." Won laughs mockingly and says, "And if we don't agree, what will you do?" Wasol answers calmly, "Then I'll have to be strict. And you can see it yourselves. You can't stand against us anymore." With respect in his voice, Wasol adds, "Stop fighting. It's time we change." As promised, Yong gives up fighting. With no other option left, Won finally agrees too. Slowly, the four of them become friends. They sit together, eat together, and Yong even teaches Wasol how to kick like him. A few days later, Wasol's release day arrives. Before leaving, he comes to the ground one last time. Jin's words echo in his mind. "Learn to win fights using your shoulders." After stepping out of prison, Wasol heads toward home. That's when Baisak appears. Wasol finally asks the question that has haunted him for years. "I've thought about it again and again. But I still don't understand. Why do you hate me so much? What did I ever do to you? Why did you keep tormenting me?" Baisak speaks calmly and says, "I don't hate you. There's nothing special about you that would make me hate you." Both Wasol and Baisak take off their jackets. And then, the fight begins. Baisak attacks first. He beats Wasol mercilessly. Wasol's condition gets worse with every hit. But the moment he finds an opening, Wasol lands a brutal punch straight to Baisak's face. Baisak stumbles. Furious, Baisak throws his jacket over Wasol's face and starts hitting him even harder. Wasol crashes to the ground. Blood begins to flow from his face. In rage, Baisak shouts, "Did you really think you could defeat me? One day, your mother came to me, begging for your life. But I threw her out." Those words ignite a fire inside Wasol. Jin's teachings flash through his mind. Wasol rips the jacket off his face. His face is covered in blood. But his eyes refuse to surrender. Baisak starts punching him again. And this time, Wasol answers every single blow. Both of them keep attacking each other non-stop. Suddenly, Wasol throws the round punch Jin taught him. Baisak slams into the ground. His face is now soaked in blood. Losing control, Baisak goes completely berserk and charges again. But he's so blinded by rage that he can't even control himself anymore. Wasul sees the opening. Just like Yong taught him. He delivers a powerful kick. Baisak falls again. He tries to get up. And throws another punch. But Wasul has become too hardened now. Even after taking hits. He doesn't feel the pain anymore. Fear creeps into Baisak's eyes. He turns his face away. Wasul feels pity. He leaves Baisak there. And silently walks away. A few days later. Wasul goes to the prison to meet Jean. Jean is happy to see him. Smiling, Jean says. I once went to an aquarium to see sharks. You told me sharks never rest. They even swim while sleeping. But the sharks I saw were standing still, resting. Jean bursts out laughing. Wasul laughs with him.